Pierce Brosnan's story doesn't begin with fame or glamour. It begins in a small Irish town, long before the tuxedo and the global spotlight. Born on May 16, 1953, in Drogheda, Ireland, his early life was shaped by absence and change. His father left when he was very young, and his mother later moved to London to work as a nurse, hoping to build a better future. Young Pierce stayed in Ireland with relatives and family friends while she worked abroad. Though the people around him cared for him, the experience created a quiet loneliness that stayed with him for years. Like many children in similar situations, he learned to observe the world carefully and to keep his feelings guarded. Art and drawing became his early refuge, a place where imagination could replace uncertainty. That quiet, thoughtful child would eventually grow into one of the most recognizable faces in cinema. Discovering a new world in London. When Pierce was about 10 years old, his life changed again when he moved to London to live with his mother. The city felt completely different from the small Irish towns he had known. London in the late 1960s was energetic and fast-moving, and for a shy teenager trying to find his place, it could feel overwhelming. At school, he often felt like an outsider, adjusting to a new environment and culture. Yet the city also offered opportunities he had never seen before. Art, music, theater, and creativity were everywhere. Slowly, he began exploring these possibilities. What started as curiosity eventually turned into something deeper. Acting, in particular, caught his attention because it allowed him to express emotions he had learned to hide. For the first time, he felt that being different could actually become a strength rather than a burden. A passion for acting takes shape. Pierce eventually enrolled at the Drama Centre London, a respected acting school known for its intense training. The program encouraged students to draw from personal experiences to create authentic performances. For Brosnan, that approach felt natural. His childhood memories, struggles, and quiet resilience became tools he could use on stage. The training was demanding, but it also helped him grow in confidence and discipline. By the time he graduated in the mid-1970s, he had developed a strong foundation as an actor. He began working in theater productions and small roles, learning the craft one performance at a time. Success did not arrive overnight, but the steady work allowed him to refine his skills and understand the industry. These early years were important because they built the patience and resilience that would support him throughout his career. The role that introduced him to the world. In 1982, Brosnan's career took a major step forward when he was cast in the television series Remington Steele. The show featured him as a charming and witty figurehead for a detective agency. His natural charisma, confidence, and sense of humor quickly captured viewers' attention. The series became popular in the United States and introduced him to a much larger audience. More importantly, it made industry leaders notice him. Many viewers saw qualities in Brosnan that reminded them of a classic cinematic hero, elegant, composed, and magnetic on screen. Soon, conversations began within the film industry about whether he might one day play the legendary spy James Bond. At that point, it was only speculation, but the idea began to circulate widely. For Brosnan, the show opened doors that had once seemed far beyond reach. The dream role that once slipped away. Around the same time, an opportunity appeared that could have transformed his career. Producers behind the James Bond films offered Brosnan the role in the mid-1980s. However, a contractual obligation with Remington Steele prevented him from accepting it. The television network extended the show, and he was legally required to remain with the series. As a result, the Bond role went to another actor. Although the situation was disappointing, Brosnan handled it with professionalism and patience. Instead of dwelling on the setback, he continued focusing on his work and family responsibilities. In many ways, the moment became a lesson in resilience. Sometimes opportunities arrive before the timing is right. Rather than allowing frustration to define him, he moved forward with determination, trusting that his career would continue to evolve in unexpected ways. The moment he finally became Bond, nearly a decade later, the opportunity returned. In 1994, producers approached Brosnan again to take on the role of James Bond. This time, he accepted, and the film GoldenEye was released in 1995. The response was immediate and enthusiastic. Audiences embraced his portrayal of the iconic spy, praising his balance of sophistication, humor, and intensity. Brosnan brought a modern energy to the character while still honoring the tradition of the series. Over the next several years, he starred in multiple Bond films that achieved strong global success. His version of the character became memorable for a new generation of viewers. While the films showcased action and adventure, Brosnan's performance also added subtle emotional depth. For him, the role represented not only a career milestone, but also a reminder that patience and persistence can eventually open doors that once seemed closed. Life beyond the iconic role. After several successful films, Brosnan eventually stepped away from the Bond franchise. Leaving such an iconic role can be challenging for any actor, but he approached the transition with curiosity and openness. Rather than repeating similar characters, he explored new types of projects. In the film The Matador, he surprised audiences with a humorous and unconventional performance that demonstrated his versatility. Later, he appeared in the musical film Mamma Mia, showing a lighter and more playful side. These roles allowed him to step beyond the image audiences had associated with him for years. They also reminded people that his talent extended far beyond one famous character. By choosing diverse projects, Brosnan proved that reinvention is possible even after achieving enormous success in a single role. Finding stability and new purpose. Another important chapter of his life began when he met journalist and environmental advocate Keely Shea Smith. Their relationship grew steadily, and they eventually married in 2001. Together, they built a supportive partnership and raised 2 sons. Family life once again became a source of grounding and joy. Keely's passion for environmental protection also inspired Brosnan to become more involved in advocacy work. Over time, he supported initiatives focused on protecting oceans and wildlife. He also participated in campaigns that raised awareness about important health issues. These activities allowed him to use his public profile for meaningful causes. Away from the film sets and premieres, he embraced a quieter rhythm of life with his family, balancing work with personal commitments that reflected his deeper values. The artist who never stopped creating beyond acting, Brosnan has always maintained a love for painting and visual art. What began as childhood sketches eventually became a serious creative outlet. Painting allows him to work in solitude and express ideas in a completely different form. His artwork often reflects nature, emotion, and memory, capturing moments that feel personal and reflective. Over time, some of his pieces have been exhibited publicly and even used to support charitable causes. The process of painting provides a sense of calm that contrasts with the intensity of filmmaking. For Brosnan, art represents freedom, the freedom to create without scripts, directors, or expectations. It also reconnects him with the imaginative spirit that first helped him navigate his childhood. In many ways, the artist inside him has always been just as important as the actor. The legacy of resilience and grace. Today, Pierce Brosnan is remembered not only for his films, but also for the resilience and grace that shaped his life journey. From a quiet childhood in Ireland to international recognition in cinema, his path was never simple. It included challenges, unexpected turns, and moments that required deep strength. Yet, through every stage, he continued moving forward with determination and humility. His story reminds us that success is rarely defined by one achievement alone. Instead, it grows from perseverance, kindness, and the courage to begin again when circumstances change. Whether on screen, in his artwork, or through his advocacy work, Brosnan has shown that Character matters far beyond the roles we play. In the end, his legacy is not just about a famous spy. It is about a life shaped by resilience, creativity, and genuine humanity.